Hi, dear tutor. My name is Jesus Perez, and this opportunity I have a pleasure of presenting my group. The name of the member of my group is Jadis Edith Arredondo Tortesilla, Gabriela Belén García Álvarez, Juliana Madrid Novoa, and Derlis Lucia Morelo Alian. The topic we are going to develop today is reducing students' anxiety and lack of confidence when speaking English through the areas focused on cognitive, motivational, and social cultural aspects. And this is the phase two practical component of the foreign language acquisition and learning. Next.
Content, introduction, class description and educational problem, learning theories comparative, theories practical application, critical problematization, conclusion, reference.
Introduction. The present activity meant to observe an English virtual class identifies an education problem analysis through the left of different learning theories as entry and interaction theory, self-determination theory, socio-cultural theory. Let's begin. Next.
Class definition. The class started on Professor Fernando Medina on April 6, 2024, lasting 1 hour and 10 minutes. The participation was 33 students are one intern. The English level take an A1. Its title was I Thank You about the future on Texas TT 2024, where it is expecting how to use and dynamic class science in text why they improve learning. Programmation, anxiety and lack of, of confidence when speak English are very common. Students often happens because they are afraid of making mistakes on their lesson at all of my opponents were they don't know a lot of ability, but had a natural reaction to the fear of making mistakes with constant practice, patience, and a positive environment. Students can add confidence and improve their self-confidence legs build leads. Next.
Theory, input and interaction theory, proponents Stephen Krashen, Michael Lomb, Meryl Swain. Key concepts. These theories suggest that learners are wired a second language when they receive understandable input, engage in interaction, and have chance to produce language. Instructional implication. Teachers should encourage active student participation, use real-life examples, and promote tasks that combine listening, reading, writing, and speaking. It is also fundamental that teachers give meaningful feedback and use clarification readouts, confirmation checks, or comprehension checks. Self-determination theory, Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. It focuses human motivation, personality development, and well-being, and highlights the importance of autonomy, competence, and social relationships in learning. Creating learning environments that for students autonomy and participation, tutors should offer a variety of resources to facilitate the learning process, as well as establish objectives that connect with the student personal interests, thus achieving more active participation. Sociocultural theory, Lev Vygotsky. Language learning is mediated through social interaction and support from others, especially within the learner zone of proximal development. Teacher should design collaborative activities, provide scaffolding from peers or instructors, and create a safe learning environment where learners feel supported to improve. Net.
I'm sorry. So now that we know the main concepts from each theory, we are going to link them to the observed class. For example, if we take input and interaction theory, there was both oral and written input on future tense. However, we think that it might have been not enough, or it might have been too difficult, because the teacher had to ask several times in Spanish if they understood. The teacher also used comprehension checks and recasts. However, the students weren't participating, so they couldn't negotiate meaning between students and teacher or between students. Regarding the comprehensible output, as there was no participations, the student couldn't actually practice their speaking, and there was no chance to practice writing. If we analyze it from the self-determination theory, it says that students should fulfill three needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness, right? So in this case, the students didn't have a chance to choose what topic to discuss, or perhaps the rhythm or pace at what they were working. That might have made them feel they didn't have any control at all, and that was the reason they didn't want to participate. Regarding competence, well, it is actually the problem we found, right? The students show lack of confidence in what they knew, and they didn't want to participate because they were afraid of making mistakes. They only participated when the teacher called their names. And the other fact that we observed was that students didn't really have a chance to bond between each other. Why? Because this was a virtual class, and virtuality makes it quite impersonal. And because of signals, and the students normally don't turn on the cameras, only the teachers. So it was hard to create that social relationship. And if we analyze it from the sociocultural theory, even though the tutor acted as a mediator and he tried to provide support and encourage participation within the zone of proximal development, it wasn't enough. And besides, there were no tasks that implied peer collaboration or peer scaffolding to help build a really safe environment and enhance participation.
Critical problematization. Main problem. Students were afraid of speaking. There was no voluntary participation from them during the class. Implication. It affects learning in a negative way because it reduces the opportunities to practice oral and writing skills. And it also becomes an obstacle for teachers to access a student's learning process and needs. Possible causes and fear of making mistakes and negative past experience when participating and negative personality traits and feel uncomfortable with the group, overcorrective or too strict teachers, and class activities above a student's comprehension level and virtual environment. Next.
Let's continue. How do we explain the problem uses theory? Fears, input and interaction theory. Fear as an example such as learning impetus in how to help. This helps to understand topics practically in small groups and correct and gently. And second, self-determination theory. It relates to acting psychologic needs, low competence, low autonomy, and lacks on social connection with in teacher and peer who do help ability to choose activity that connecting teeth and increase sales competence. Zero, sociocultural theory, fears and anxieties are is with they don't feel secure in the zone of proximal development. How to help connect with study province allows unjets and fears and gratulating with to feel secure. Next.
Conclusion. Uh, we concluded that acquiring a second language involves connectivity, uh, psychology, social and technology experts uh, lack uh, of, of motivation and confidence, negative after the learning process evaluate as skill testing since a lack of confidence clearing block learning and markets in is more uh, complicated. It is important to force autonomy, competence, and social relation to foster motivation, encourage interaction and participation, and creative and savvy every problem. Next.
Well, these are the references that we use to analyze this virtual class. We hope you have understood theory project. And now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to make you some questions. I don't know which one of you want to be the first one who is brave enough. If you want, you can raise your hand. Okay, Jesus.
All right.
So,
And
do you
I do
know?
love, yes. And for this question, I think better. I plan to use resources like eslvideo.com to enhance my students' English listening skills, aiming to booster their confidence in speaking English. This tool I'll include YouTube videos, PDF documents, and Canva presentations. I believe this activity will have a significant positive impact, progressively improving their and listening abilities. This is all.
Okay, and so you said you would use a resource. Do you know how you are going to assess the impact of the activity? Are you going to use a quiz or perhaps an evaluation rubric?
I think I will have a quiz, and that way I can access my students. And I think that's the best way to see it.
Okay, thank you, Jesus. So now,
okay.
dear Liz, what innovative English learning activity would you propose to address this problem?
I would propose an activity called Kahoot Speaking Challenge. In this activity, students practice English through everyday life situation like being in a restaurant, at the school, or at the store. Before selecting an option on Kahoot, each student must say their answer out loud and then choose the option that best matches what they said. The main goal is to reduce speaking anxiety, encourage participation, and build confidence in a fun and interactive way.
Okay, and what you said you are going to use Kahoot, right? How would you assess the impact of the activity on language learning?
Repeat.
How would you assess the impact of the activity? Are you going to use like a quiz or perhaps an evaluation rubric?
Question number 2 or 3?
3.
I would observe if students participate more, speak more confidently, and make fewer pauses or mistakes during the Kahoot activity. I would compare their fluency and pronunciation before and after the game to identify improvements in confidence and oral communication.
Okay, thank you, dear Liz. It was quite clear. Now, Jadis, would you like to tell us what innovative English learning activity would you propose to address the problem?
Um, I will use gamification and vocabulary to go and interaction activity stroke as number, fast peer, past equation is perfect for encouraging sequential participation in reducing anxiety.
Okay, what digital tool or resources would you use for this activity?
Wordboard, UCT, peer, would.
Okay, and how would you assess the impact of the activity on language learning?
The assessment is bulbix is completely formative
Okay.
and oriented is to more participation and vocabulary use. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And now, Juli, what innovative English learning activity would you propose to address the problem?
I will implement the Telex conversation circle activity activity that encourages learning but also builds confidence and reduce student anxiety when experience sexual as we can choose simple and personal topics such as my favorite food, explore, place, and more.
Okay, and what digital tool or resources would you use for this activity?
I will use I app that facilitates oral expression such as speaking people where the student learn a lot about the culture can also provide oral and personalized feedback.
Okay, and how would you assess the impact of this activity on language learning?
Uh, I will evaluation they observing the student progress influencing pronunciation and vocabulary by comparing the recurring and different points in the process.
Okay, thank you. And for my part, to reduce anxiety and lack of confidence, I'm going to set a task that means interactive collaborative writing. And it will allow students to interact in pairs and practice what they want to say to express before telling the rest of the class, because that gives them more confidence. They will practice speaking, writing. They will be able to negotiate meanings and to socialize. For that, I'm going to use Padlet. And to assess them, I would use an evaluation rubric, and I will think of questions to assess linguistic outcome, collaborative work, and affective factors like motivation and engagement. And I want to include a section to make students reflect on the task. And so I'm going to work on it and let you know through the photo if you want to add something. So thank you for participating. It was a great dialogue. I don't know if any of you want to say something else, or shall we call it a day here? Okay, so thank you very much.